You think she's just busy. You think she's shy. You think if you wait a little longer, try a little harder, say exactly the right thing at exactly the right moment, she'll finally see you the way you need her to see you. But here's what nobody around you is willing to say out loud. She already sees you. She's already decided. And you've been spending your energy trying to change a verdict that was never going to be overturned. That's not a judgment. That's a starting point. Because the moment you stop misreading the signals, the moment you stop translating maybe into yes and silence into possibility, is the exact moment your life starts moving in a direction that actually serves you. And that's what this channel is built for. Not flattery, not comfortable lies dressed up as advice, just the truth clearly, consistently, without apology. If you need that kind of clarity in your life, subscribe right now. Hit that button, not for me, but because you need a place that will keep reminding you of what you already know deep down, but keep letting yourself forget. Now let's get into it. Here's what it really means when a woman is not interested in you. It means the story you're writing in your head about her, about what's possible, about what she feels but isn't saying, is entirely a product of your own hope. And hope is not a strategy. Hope, when it's aimed at someone who has already shown you the truth, is just another name for self-deception. The misconception most men carry is that a woman who is unavailable is a challenge to be overcome, that her resistance is a puzzle to be solved, that there's some combination of persistence, charm, and patience that will eventually unlock what she's withholding. That's not female psychology. That's a fantasy you built to protect yourself from a rejection you haven't allowed yourself to fully feel. The hard truth is this. When a woman is genuinely interested in a man, she finds a way, she makes time, she initiates, she shows up, even imperfectly, even nervously, even across distance or inconvenience. Interest does not hide. Interest leaks through every crack. And when it's absent, when every interaction feels like pulling teeth, when you're the only engine in this equation, that is not a test of your patience. That is a clear and consistent answer you've been refusing to accept. Why does it happen? Why do you end up here pouring into someone who isn't pouring back? Because at some point, you decided your worth was something that had to be earned from her. You outsourced your value. You made her the measuring stick for whether you were enough, whether you were attractive enough, confident enough, interesting enough. And when she didn't immediately confirm that you were, you didn't walk away with your dignity intact. You doubled down. You worked harder to convince her. You became an auditioner rather than a man with standards. And that inversion, that shift from value to neediness, is where most men lose themselves completely. What does it cost you? It costs you months. Sometimes years. It costs you the attention you should have given to your own growth, your own craft, your own peace. You stop pursuing your goals with full focus because a fraction of your mind is always calculating, always wondering, always replaying that last conversation looking for a thread of encouragement. You stop meeting other women because your emotional bandwidth is occupied. You stop investing in yourself because you're too busy investing in someone who has quietly, consistently, kindly been telling you the truth with her behavior this entire time. That's called opportunity cost. And you have been paying it at a premium. Here is the reframe. She is not the problem. You are not a failure. The situation is simply a mirror, and what it's reflecting back at you is not your worthlessness. It is your misalignment. You have been misaligned with reality, with your own value, with how a man who truly respects himself responds when interest is not reciprocated. The moment you see this clearly, the moment you stop making her the center of a story she never agreed to be the hero of, everything recalibrates. So let's talk about the 7 signs, not as a checklist to validate your worst fears, but as a map back to your own reality. The first sign is that she responds slowly, inconsistently, or with minimal effort. You send a message that took thought, and she fires back a one-word answer 3 hours later, or not at all. You tell yourself she's busy. Everyone is busy. But here's the thing. People respond immediately, or at least urgently, to what matters to them. You know this because you've done it. You've responded to a text within seconds when you wanted to. When she is interested, your message is not a chore. It's an event she's been waiting for. When her responses are sparse, delayed, and low energy, she is not managing her schedule. She is managing your expectations slowly, so it doesn't feel abrupt. The second sign is that she never initiates contact. You are always the one reaching out. You are always the one setting up the next conversation, the next meeting, the next reason to exist in each other's orbit. And when you stop, there is silence. Not a, hey, I haven't heard from you, silence. Just silence. That's not hard to read. That is the answer. A woman who wants to be in your world creates opportunities to be in your world. She texts first. She sends something that made her think of you. She finds a reason. When she's not finding reasons, she's not looking. The third sign is that she is vague, non-committal, and slippery about time with you. Every attempt to make concrete plans results in maybe, we'll see, I'll let you know, this week is crazy, next week should be better, and next week is always equally crazy. This is not her life being chaotic. This is her communicating something she doesn't want to say plainly because she is not trying to hurt you. She is trying to preserve both your feelings and her freedom simultaneously. That combination produces vagueness as a default. When a woman wants to see you, she makes it work. She rearranges, she clears space. Vagueness is not circumstance. Vagueness is a soft no repeated until you hear it. The fourth sign is that her body language is closed, flat, and disengaged when you're physically present. She doesn't lean in. She doesn't hold eye contact beyond social necessity. She doesn't laugh a little too long at things that aren't that funny. She's polite, pleasant even, but her body tells you what her words are being careful not to. Women who are attracted to a man cannot fully conceal it, not completely. The micro-expressions, the proximity, the way she orients her body toward him, the unnecessary touches, they surface because attraction is not fully controllable. When none of that is present, when her posture is straight and composed and angled ever so slightly away from you, that is information. Read the room. Actually, read the body. The fifth sign is that she talks openly about other men, her dating life, or treats you like a confidant rather than a candidate. She tells you about the guy she's seeing. She asks for your advice on her love life. She introduces you to her world as a friend consistently in every context. This is not her way of making you jealous. This is not a test to see if you'll fight for her. This is her showing you the category she's placed you in. She respects you enough to be honest about that category. The mistake is refusing to accept the placement and continuing to behave like a man angling for a promotion she's never going to offer. The sixth sign is that she puts in zero effort to look good around you specifically. Now, this is subtle, but it matters. A woman who is attracted to you is aware of your gaze. She is not performatively vain, but she is conscious. She cares, even if just a little, about how she presents when you are in the picture. When she shows up to meet you in the same energy she'd bring to a grocery run, when there's zero evidence that your presence prompted any additional attention to detail, she is telling you in the clearest possible nonverbal language that your opinion of her appearance is not something she is cultivating. Not because she's above it, because you are not the audience she's performing for right now. The seventh sign, and this one cuts the deepest. She never asks about you. Not really. She doesn't remember what you told her last week. She doesn't follow up on the thing you said was important to you. She doesn't ask deeper questions about your life, your goals, your past, your perspective. Conversation with her feels one-directional or mutually surface level at best. When a woman is genuinely interested in a man, she is curious about him. She wants to understand what makes him move. She asks follow-up questions. She listens in a way that proves she was listening before. When that curiosity is absent, when you could swap yourself out for any other warm body and the interaction would feel roughly the same, she is not building a picture of you in her mind. You are not a person she is studying. You are just someone she's being polite to. Now, I want you to picture a different kind of man. Not a perfect man. Not a fictional ideal. A real one. A man who reads these signs within the first few interactions, who doesn't catastrophize them, but simply accepts them as data, and who responds to that data not with bitterness or pursuit, but with redirection. He has goals that demand his attention. He has a life that is genuinely full and genuinely interesting, not to impress anyone, but because he built it that way. When a woman's interest is ambiguous, he does not sit in the ambiguity hoping it will resolve itself in his favor. He gets clear. He asks directly, gracefully, without desperation, and he accepts the answer with the kind of composure that comes from a man who knows his value does not hinge on any single person's validation. This man does not chase. Not because he's playing games, not because he's read some strategy in a book, but because he genuinely understands that chasing someone who is not moving toward you is a form of self-disrespect. He's been clear about who he is, what he's offering, and what he wants. If that isn't returned with equal clarity and equal energy, he moves, not in anger, not in performance, quietly, with his self-respect fully intact, in the direction of his own life. That man is not a character. That man is a standard, and you are capable of holding it. So here is what you do right now. Stop doubling the effort when the return is diminishing. More texts do not produce more interest. More availability does not produce more attraction. Stop analyzing her behavior as though it's a code to be cracked. It is not a code. It is a communication. Start reading it as one. Redirect your attention immediately toward what you were working on before she became the main event in your mental landscape. Your project, your training, your craft, your circle of people who actually want to be around you. Invest there deeply and without apology. And if you need to get clarity, get it. Ask her directly where she stands, not with aggression, not with manufactured indifference, just a clean, grounded, simple question. You're allowed to want to know where you stand, and you're allowed to act accordingly once you do. That is not weakness. That is self-respect in action. You stop waiting for permission to move on. You stop rewinding the same conversations. You stop shrinking your world to fit inside the hope that one person will eventually change their mind. You stop making someone else's indifference a referendum on your worth. You stop, and then you build. You rebuild the version of yourself that was there before this consumed you, the one with direction and presence and a full life that wasn't organized around anyone's approval. Because here is the final truth I need you to hear and actually hold on to. You are not lacking. You are not broken. You are not less than. You are a man who got momentarily lost in someone else's timeline and forgot that you have your own. The signs she's showing you are not a verdict on your value. They are a redirection. The universe, her behavior, your gut that you kept ignoring, they are all pointing you back to yourself. You are the answer to the question you keep asking someone else. You always were. If this hit somewhere real, subscribe right now. This channel will keep giving you the clarity, the truth, and the kind of grounded perspective that most people in your life are too comfortable to offer you. New content drops regularly, and every video is built for exactly this, helping you see clearly, stand firmly, and build a life you actually respect yourself in. Welcome to the community. You belong here.